I've seen people reviewing some of the coolest stuff that they either bought or got for Christmas, and I am going to do a post. My friend in the woods, who's also my landlady, she's the bomb. She has a knitting shop and she's a pro knitter, and she made us these beanies. Let me tell you, I have like thick hair and a big old head. This is adorable. Like two-tone, super, super cute knit. I am obsessed. I want to promote her a little bit. Not just to say thank you, but I also just want to like show it off. Look at this. I'm going to tag her in the post. I think she has Instagram. She might have TikTok. Either way, I'm going to tag her. Give her some love. If you like knitted products, go get it.
The Western Scorpion.
The Western Scorpion has been killed. For now. The Western Scorpion turned into the Desert Dwellers, which I think you'll agree has more bugs on it, right? Definitely. And you know, we still have a scorpion. We have a scorpion here with little claws, but that doesn't mean it's dead forever. So I'm gonna tell you what happened. So Spin Cycle reached out to me and they said, hey, we love bugs. Let's do something. And I said, great, I love bugs. Here is my idea. Here is 3.5 pages of information about my idea. Please, dear God, let me do this idea. And they said, okay, sure, do your idea. My idea was the Western Scorpion. So they sent me this wonderful yarn, Wilder in light gray and dark gray, and Dyed in the Wool in Rusted Rainbow. And I was gung-ho. I cast on, I figured it out. And it didn't work. It just didn't work. It looked terrible. Because I'd only ever knit with Spin Cycle yarn that had pretty slight variations, like Devilish Grin, right? There is so much depth and beauty and dimension in this yarn that my chart was just too small to capture it. So I thought, okay, well, a large part of this design is a contrasting applied I-cord. I can just do something with that. And then in order, so this is a sport weight yarn, and then in order for my applied I-cord to look halfway decent, I had to knit on like size 1 needles, and it was very, very thin, and it looked kind of bad. It just looked bad. And it took me a long time to admit that it looked bad, but eventually I hung up my hat. Also, I was knitting in Intarsia and combined Intarsia Fair Isle flat with a weird v-neck, and I thought to myself, no one's going to want to knit this, Meredith. People are going to hate you for this. No one is ever going to want to test this. No one's going to want to knit this. No one's going to have fun with this, right? So I cried about it for a week, and then I messaged my tech editor, Kylan, and I said, hey, Kylan, I messed up. I messed up big time. I'm the worst person. I have to change my whole design concept. And she said, Meredith, no, you're fine. Just email Spin Cycle. This happens. It's okay. It doesn't happen to me. Okay. The Ants in the Row Raglan and the Leaf Hopper sweater, I cast those babies on and I went. I did not frog one single thing in those sweaters. Okay. So this was a big blow to my ego. You know, lots of time spent eating ice cream and feeling pathetic about this. I'm kidding. A little bit. Definitely the feeling pathetic, right? But anyway, I hung my little tail between my legs. I emailed Spin Cycle and I said, I'm the worst person in the whole world and I'm letting you down and I'm so sorry and I'm so new at this, and also I'm in the middle of my first semester as a PhD student and everything is terrible and I'm sad and tired all the time. And they emailed me back. They were like, it's fine. It's okay. It's cool. We like your design, so you figure it out. It'll be fine. And I couldn't think for ages. I just was so disappointed, but I thought, you know what? I love a folded hem. I love a folded hem. So I cast on a sweater with a folded hem and I thought, I'll just figure it out. You know, I will just figure it out. And I thought, I love bugs. I will just make some bug charts. I love a little column in a design. So we have some saguaro columns, some alternating little saguaros here. And I did the first row and I just thought, hey, this isn't garbage. And then I did the second row and I thought, hey, this really isn't garbage. And then yesterday I figured out what I'm going to do for the neckline. I figured out what I'm going to do for the sleeves. And don't worry, you're not going to have to do color work in the flat for this. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if I tell you what it is, I'm going to have to come back here and be like, I messed up, guys. I messed up again. It didn't work. But so far, everything's been working great. So the Western Scorpion yarn turned into the Desert Dwellers sweater. And I'm going to be working on the Western Scorpion in the future. I have kind of a yarn in mind already that I want to use for it, but it's a back burner project because I have a lot of other really exciting, really interesting projects that I'm working on right now. Just wanted to take you because take you from the beginning to the end of the design process there, because I said I would in that video, and then I disappeared for 6 months. And also I said that pattern would be out for testing in the end of 2024. Your girl had not released a knitting pattern yet. Your girl had no idea how much work it took to release a knitting pattern. So, anyway, lots of lies in that video. It's okay. We're at peace with it. I think this is a much more beautiful sweater. Have a lovely day.
Ooh, this is nice. Girl, this all this is you right here? Okay. It don't smell like roaches in here or nothing. This is so nice. And look at this. Girl.
In a couple of months, my friends and I are going to Norway. Literally Norway, and I am so excited, and I promise you I will sort of not be shutting up about it as the trip comes closer and closer, but at the moment I'm channeling my excitement about the trip into knitting. I am knitting bonnets and beanies for my friends and I that are all going, but that's not what this video is about, although I promise once I get back to my main yarn stash, we will be discussing beanie and bonnet options. This video, however, is about mittens, specifically those beautiful, like, Norwegian colorwork mittens that have the point in them, and I was perusing Ravelry and I found some beautiful options, and I'm going to show you. Okay, let me move my face. So this is a free pattern. This is probably what I'm going to be doing. I don't really have a lot of experience knitting mittens. I've knit a pair of mittens, and I've certainly never done color work on such a teeny tiny scale, so I think a free sort of basic pattern is a great way to start. And this is a beautiful pattern. I love the flowers. I'm a big like floral motif person in general, and here you can see like the inside a little bit better. And the thing that I'm obsessed with on these patterns is the little thumb details. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Here's another picture of them. They're so beautiful. I love the color. I'll have to see. I kind of want to cast it on today, so we'll have to see what yarn I have like here at my parents' house. I also don't... So I may or may not have ordered the Chiaogu Shorties blue set, and I'm sorry I shouldn't have done, especially because I'm going on this trip and I shouldn't be spending money, but they were on sale and I've been wanting for so long. So eventually I will have those needles, but for now I don't, which means I think I'm going to try for the first time ever to do like the 4 double pointed needles and see how it goes. I like don't know how to do it. For some reason I've been like terrified of doing that, but anyway. Then I found these owl mittens, and now I, as an alum of Bryn Mawr College, shouts out, I tend to avoid owl things because it feels a little much. But I like that there's a little owl on the thumb, and my mom loves owls. So one day, when I get really good at doing this, I would love to knit these for my mom. And then, these cats, are you, like, the fishbone on the thumb, you're actually joking. You're actually joking. And then these fish ones, look at the fish. They're swimming around. They're fish on... have you ever heard of a more beautiful thing? Okay, and then finally we have this cow mitten. And you might think, oh, that's nice. It's a nice cow. I like the cow head. Wrong. You like the cow body because when you hold them together, you get a fully fledged cow. And I think that's... I've been learning Norwegian on Duolingo. I think this is mø. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume that is how you say moo in Norwegian. Sort of, I'm also obsessed with like different, like in English you say meow, in German you say mau, and like I'm obsessed with how animals. So this sort of hits 2. This is 2. Also like the udders, like so clearly I'm sort of on this beautiful like intricate colorwork mitten journey, and I think that this is probably going to be how get ready for the pun. Okay, this is probably how I dip my toes into sock knitting. I've been on a sweater kick for like the past 2 years, but all of a sudden I'm being drawn to these little intricate like mittens, and I think that that's going to turn into socks. This is going to be a new era of knitting for me. But stay tuned as I talk all about Norwegian knitting, and also if you have recommendations for what to do in Tromsø, pronunciation's a little shaky probably, let me know. I have already found several. I've been looking up yarn stores. I'm coming home with a lot more yarn from Norway with Norwegian yarn, Norwegian wool. So, pretty awesome. Anyway, talk to you later.
I'm starting a new project today. I'm so excited to tell you all about it. This past summer, I got married, and while we were on our honeymoon, my husband and I bought yarn from each of the places that we went to so that I could make us matching sweaters. The sweater that I'm going to be making us that is matching is the Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow. More specifically, we wanted to model them after this one that Rebecca was working on that has stripes on it, and we wanted 3 stripes across our like chest area that have the 3 colors that we chose for the 3 places that we went on our honeymoon. Now let me show you the yarn. The only color that we didn't buy while we were out on our honeymoon is the base color, and that is going to be our Cascade 220 Superwash. We decided to go with Superwash because a lot of the colors that we did are in Superwash already, and this is color 817, which is that ecru color. First place we went on our honeymoon is New York, and at Nitty City I picked up this color New York. It is from Yarn Over New York, and it is beautiful. The second place we went to was Playa del Carmen, and it was really hard to find yarn in Mexico. And so I got this while we were in our third place, and this is from Hazel Knits. It's Lively Decay, and this just screamed the colors that we were seeing in Mexico. Last but certainly not least, we went to Ashland, Oregon for the Shakespeare Festival there, and this is the color that we chose. It's Madeline Tosh Bloom Baby Bloom. This is a fingering yarn, but I am going to hold it double to get gauge, hopefully. I am super excited for this journey, and I hope that you follow along with me.
I was inspired by the sisters that knit a sweater in a week. So I'm going to be knitting a mitten in a week and having the set done in 2 weeks, hopefully. I decided that I'm going to knit the green set of yarn that I have in Do Songbird Mitts as a gift. I had the pink set also, but I thought that this color would be better for the person that I'm gifting for. And I'm going to modify the pattern a little bit to personalize it and put their initials in the mitten somewhere. I haven't fully decided that yet, so it'll be interesting to see where I end up putting that. I have my Chigu 2.5 millimeter needles, 9-inch ones, and the pattern asked for 2.75, but I did the outfoxed mitts in 2.5 also, and so I thought that I would just keep the same size, and the person that I'm knitting for has smaller hands like I do, so I feel like that'll work out. But yeah, if you guys want to see if I can knit a mitten in the week, then keep watching. And I'm hoping to get halfway through the cuff today. I have like an initial part of ribbing and then half of the color work I'm hoping to get done today, and we'll see where I end up.
Why you should add this village in Portugal to your bucket list if you crochet or knit. These photos that I'm about to show you are all ones that my friend Soph sent me, who's currently in the city of Mediterrola. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but it's close to the border of Spain. And you can see from these photos, literally the entire village, or at least good parts of the village, are all decorated with yarn. I think this is absolutely iconic. I tried to look up more information about maybe who created these, why they decided to add yarn to their benches, if this was a form of yarn bombing, which is like when you actively try to come and show a political message, a social message, an environmental message through your yarn, or if this was simply just to beautify the town, bring in tourism. A group of people wanted to do that. Unfortunately, after trying to come and research this, I fell short. I could not find the answer to this question, so the question still remains. But nonetheless, I think this is so cool. This isn't necessarily crocheted, but some parts are and some parts aren't. I feel like it takes the essence of crochets and knitting, and it just shows you the different ways that you can use yarn outside of those practices. But yeah, this town is absolutely iconic, so beautiful. You can see there's a heart right there. Absolutely think this is iconic. So pretty cool. Had to share for that reason. And I hope that you find an excuse to go here, because I want to go here.
All the other children said I was too noisy, so I was always made to sit outside. And then one day, somebody burned down the school. And that person was me.
Go figure. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, would you look at this? Just look at it. Just look at it. Yeah, well. What the heck is that?
My husband has decided to keep a yarn stash. Okay, let me give you a little bit of background. We're on vacation right now, and we found a yarn store. We're all like, woohoo, let's go, let's go. And he loves coming to yarn stores with me. He has learned like all the verbiage and all the things. He is so sweet. He is so supportive. And he was like, would it be bad for me to keep a yarn stash? And I was like, tell me more. So he was like, you are always getting these beautiful yarns and you make me things, but like maybe I want to choose a yarn and have it in my stash. And then when you are inspired to make me something, you could make it from my stash. So it's not in your stash. And I'm like, so it's not going to go in my Ravelry. It's not going to go in my stash pile. It's not going to go anywhere. It is going to be stuff that he is really excited about, that when I am inspired to make him something, I can pull from his stash. And because I'm a supportive partner, I said, of course, have your own yarn stash. He is going to limit it to only one skein at a time. And I want to show you the first one. Ready? Isn't this beautiful? He beelined for this because in the Portland area, we cannot find yarn like this. It is a 44% superwash wool, 42% cotton, and 14% polyamide. So I've never tried making a sock with cotton yarn before that has cotton content in it, but I think I'm gonna try with this. After I use this and he buys new things for his stash, I will show y'all, but husband stash.
Guys, I've finally compiled my 2025 knitting plan list. Do you want to see? Okay, a couple things I'm focusing on for 2025 is I want to knit some more basic, simple garments. I know you're like, girl, what basic, simple? I don't know her. I do know her, actually. I do know her. But like, we need to be reacquainted because it's been a minute since I've knit something that's not a full colorwork sweater. So I'm looking to knit more basic knits, and I also want to start designing more. So some of these knits that I'm highlighting are going to influence some of my designing progress. So, and then another thing I really want to focus on with the basic knits is, girl, guys, people, I want to recreate some Baba sweaters. I know it's like the thing that everyone's doing, but every time I see someone wearing a Baba, I look at it and I'm like, that's the Lakes pullover from Ozetta. Like, that's not Baba. That is the Amy sweater from Petite Knit. That's not Baba. And I really want some like staple, but also like some bold colors, you know, like I'll show you my color palette that I want to use too. So let's just get into it. Okay, first up, I've seen this in so many places. I need a good staple cardigan. And what I was looking for with this, I already have a sweater quantity of Cascade 220 that I need to use up. And I was looking at My Favorite Things Knitwear cardigans and a lot of Ozetta cardigans. The gauge on those is 15, 16, 17 stitches. Cascade does not fit that gauge. So I was like, dang, I really need to find a cardigan that has a thick button band and is just basic, simple. I'm pretty sure this is a drop shoulder. I really wanted it to be a drop shoulder that fit the Cascade 220 gauge. So I swatched it here. I'm using this beautiful red. I got it off of Facebook Marketplace. Down here is size US 7, and up here is, I believe, up here is US 8. This is pre-blocking, obviously. So I'm going to have to block it to see what I think, but I'm probably going to do the 7 because the Ava cardigan is knit with Pure Gint, and Pure Gint is a really hardy yarn. Like, it's very lightweight, but it's a Norwegian wool, so when you knit a whole garment with it, it's decently heavy. Like, it's really sturdy, and I think the cardigan was designed to have that in mind. Like, it's a very petite, that's not the right word that I'm using, feminine maybe, like it looks very feminine garment, but it's also very hardy because of that Pure Gint. And so I kind of want to create the thickest fabric possible, which I think will be attained with the US 7. Like the 8, I would probably hit gauge. I don't know. I'll have to see post blocking. I think I hit gauge on the 7, but like it wouldn't be bad if I knit it with size 8s. So yeah, it's a really, really bright red from Cascade 220, which is going right into the Baba color theme, the starting point of it anyway. Sweater number 25, that's next. I love the thick ribbing. I love the huge turtleneck, and I also like, is that called a funnel neck, where the turtleneck just doesn't start here, it starts from out here and goes in. I think that's a funnel neck. I really like that. I really like the drop shoulder. I've never knit. I've never completed a drop shoulder knit. I know, I mean, like, I have commercial sweaters that are knit with that construction, and I really like that. I want to be well versed in that sweater construction, if that makes sense. And I really like this sweater number 25 for my favorite things. Now, I believe the gauge on that is 15 stitches, which for this Cascade 220 that I have that I got from Marketplace will obviously not cut it. So I'm thinking I'll probably pair this with a alpaca or a mohair. I got a gift card to Linda Hobby for Christmas, and so I might use it to buy some mohair or alpaca to hold with it, but maybe like a thicker mohair and alpaca, because the gauge on this is 20 to 22 stitches. So in order to hit 15, that'll be interesting. And I want it to be, again, like thick and hardy. I don't want to up my needle size just to hit gauge. But I'm planning on knitting sweater number 25 with this Cascade 220 that I've had for a long time that I got from Marketplace. Other things I could definitely see myself knitting in the future is cardigan number 9. The gauge on this, I believe, is 15 or 16. So I'll have to get a different yarn for it, but I love the buttons that they chose for this. I love the button band. I'm pretty sure this is a saddle shoulder. Again, I've never knit a saddle shoulder before, and I just really love a good hardy cardigan. So I'm probably going to end up knitting cardigan number 9 this year for my favorite things. And I'm going to knit this is the Lakes pullover, not the winter one. It's the Lakes pullover. Like, that screams Baba. I know sweater number 25 does too. And I feel like this is just a little bit different. Like, it has a longer ribbing here. And I might change this to do 2x2 ribbing instead of 1x1. It depends on how I'm feeling, but like, I might knit this depending on how sweater number 25 turns out. I really want to knit matching Moby sweaters for me and Chris eventually. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but I just have to. As a knitter, you just gotta knit a Moby. Another thing that I really wanted to do this year was to have a 2x2 ribbed sweater, but like a loose 2x2 ribbed sweater. And I was thinking turtleneck, and I was thinking split hem for this one. So this is the Hazel. Do you see the split hem? This is the Hazel sweater by Petite Knit. And I'm thinking of doing this in a like cobalt royal blue. I know. I cannot do neutral. I can't do neutral, but I can do like solid color things. I'm not just a color work gal. Like cobalt blue. And the final thing I'll say is I need to knit a fingering or a sport weight cardigan, preferably from Dale Garn or another Norwegian, Danish type sweater. Like, I just need to. As a knitter, I feel like for some reason, it's just been calling to me to knit a fingering or a sport weight. I think, hold up. I'm buying Winola, whoever, she's Danish. Kayla's currently knitting the Helma cardigan. I need to knit that cardigan so bad. So I think I'm going to do the Helma cardigan. Because I do want it to be top down. I do want it to be a circular yoke, and I do want it to be steeked, because one of my 2025 goals, which I'll make a video about, is to steek something. So I feel like if I can just like wrap all my goals up into one, you know what, sufficient. So I'm probably not going to knit this one because I want it to have a thicker button band, but I do like the construction of this one. Yeah. Anyway, what are your 2025 knitting plans? Any of them the same? Any of them, like, are you going for a different vibe? Let me know.
Hi, I'm Meredith. I'm an entomologist and artist. I design insect-themed knitting patterns, and this is my newest sweater, the Desert Dweller sweater, and I want to finish it in time to wear to the American Society of Naturalists meeting that I have to leave for in less than a week. Now, I am notoriously anti making knitting challenge videos or doing like day 1, day 2, day 3 knitting videos because I'm a full-time PhD student. I don't always have the time to knit consistently. Like, this hem took me a couple weeks. This has taken me a couple days. So I don't have the time to do that or post consistently. And then every time I've tried to record a video like that, I watch it back and it feels so humble braggy to me. And I don't think other people come across like that. I greatly enjoy a lot of the knitting challenge videos I see. I just personally will watch myself back and I'm like, oh, Meredith, no, stop. So this is the first video series, whatever you want to call it, that I have tried to make along these lines. And I just need peer pressure from the internet at large to force me to finish this sweater in a couple of days. Like, please bully me. Please tell me to finish this. Yarn is Spin Cycle Wilder in light gray and dark gray, and then Dyed in the Wool in Rusted Rainbow. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Mwah!
To hear this, but knitting does not have to be expensive. I don't know what it is, but I think that a lot of people are maybe scared to get into knitting a lot more than crochet because they think that they need all these expensive supplies. You need like a full set of interchangeable needles and fancy stitch markers, fancy yarn, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I think that I know that a lot of it is also because a lot of people can be quite snobbish towards people who maybe use acrylic yarn, but there's nothing wrong with using acrylic. If acrylic is what you have or what you can afford, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I currently have another Sophie shawl going in this acrylic yarn right now that I bought years ago. And even though I'm able to use a lot more expensive yarn now, if I want to use acrylic, then I'm gonna use acrylic. You know, I don't think we should follow a particular standard or anything like that. And when it comes to accessories, I think if you're a beginner, I would highly suggest just get a few circular needles, like fixed circular needles. You do not need a whole set of interchangeable needles to start with. I just bought a whole set of DPNs on Amazon for like $12, and it had like all the sizes I could possibly need, because I was thinking, well, I don't know if I'm gonna really stick with using DPNs for sleeve knitting for a really long time, so let me just get this before I commit to a much better quality one. You know what I mean? So just get what you have. There's always sales going on at Joann's or Michael's. You can get some acrylic blends too, because I used to use Lion Brand Wool Ease. That's a pretty good yarn to start with. And if you're looking for like something really affordable that's 100% wool, if you're in the US, I would highly suggest Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. It's always on sale. It comes in this giant skein, and there's about over 400 meters in one skein. So for a project, I typically use maybe 3 skeins, and I think if you are smaller than me, you can even probably get away with 2 or 2.5. So it doesn't have to be a stressful thing. And when it comes to things like stitch markers, this is what I used to do in the very beginning. I would just cut a tiny thing of yarn, and then I would tie the ends like that and just put it on my needle, and that's it. And that's it. You don't need any fancy stitch markers. That's it. And when it comes to a lot of other fancier stitch markers, I think I've only ever bought that once. Most of the stitch markers that I use now are like just like the ones that you get in bulk for like $5 or $6, and that's fine with me. So I don't think anybody should feel discouraged about knitting just because you feel like you have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to buy materials. And even patterns, there's tons and tons and tons of free patterns on Ravelry, and that's the main reason I would always recommend Ravelry to anybody just starting out. And also Reddit is also a great resource for beginners, in terms of having other experienced knitters help you out with understanding the pattern, your stitches, all of that. So just don't stress out about it. Knitting doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be bougie or whatever. Like, you're creating art, and you should be able to do that on your own terms, you know, without any feelings of what would I call it, just not being, I don't know what to say. How do I explain? You don't need to feel like you need to match up to a certain aesthetic or a certain standard, or yeah, whatever it is. Just grab some needles, grab whatever yarn you have, and start knitting.
Hi, I'm Meredith. I'm an entomologist and artist, and I design insect-themed knitting patterns. And I wanted to get on here and show you what I've been working on over break, because I realized I've never actually posted on here about this sweater, even though it's the coolest thing that I've ever made and will probably be the coolest thing that I ever make. Anyway, this is called the Desert Dweller sweater, and it's inspired by the fact that I moved to Arizona in August of this year. And while moving to the desert in the middle of the summer might not actually inspire everyone to make a wool sweater, it inspired me to make a color work wool sweater, because you know what you can do with a color work wool sweater? You can put bugs on that sweater. Specifically, you can put bugs that you find in the Sonoran Desert, like this Jerusalem cricket and this soon-to-be unicorn mantis once I finish the head. You can put bugs like that on a sweater. Look at this desert stink beetle. Yeah, that's what you can do. And this is going to be a scorpion. You can see his little, not just bugs. Bugs in the general, the layman's use of the word bug. These are bugs in that way. Anyway, this is a collaboration with Spin Cycle. They sent me the yarn. Thank you, Spin Cycle. And the yarn that I'm using is Wilder in light gray and dark gray. And then they're dyed in the wool in rusted rainbow. And this was actually originally for a different sweater concept entirely. And then once I was about halfway through, I realized that it just really wasn't doing the yarn justice. So I switched gears. And I actually just kind of figured out how I was going to finish this yesterday. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Just wait. I'm very customizable. But when I scrapped the initial sweater, I was kind of like, what do I do? What do I do with all of this beautiful yarn? And I was like, okay, well, I love a folded hem. So I'm just gonna do a folded hem. We'll see where that takes me. And I was like, you know what? I love bugs. And I love kind of repeating patterns, and I love like kind of column repeating patterns. You've seen my ants in a row raglan. So I was like, I'll just make a bunch of bug charts. I'll see what happens. And then the more I knit, the more inspired I got to kind of finish it. And I just had my big idea for finishing it yesterday. I know it's not going to be color work flat. All the color work for this sweater is going to be knit in the round. So this is the Desert Dweller sweater. I really want to finish it in a week so that I can wear it to a conference. We will see. We will see if that happens. Okay. Next, I've been working on the selection shawl, which I have only done a couple rows since the last time I showed you guys, but it's this big, beautiful peppered moth shawl, because everyone says, Meredith, we need more stuff with moths. And you know what? The Desert Dweller has moths and bees and a butterfly. I caved to peer pressure, but they are all insects you can find in the Sonoran Desert, so that makes them okay. Anyway, this is just about the peppered moth, and it's going to be really beautiful. I'm very excited. This is going to be my conference knitting, probably. And I also have yarn in a cart right now for a special surprise project. The hint to which that sweater is going to be about is in this video, and is finally coming to fruition because I have a chart. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Lots of charts. Lots of bugs, lots of knitting, lots of re-knitting. And yeah, I'm really excited about this sweater. I'm really excited to put out the testing call. And just so you know, when I publish this pattern, when I put out the testing call, I'm gonna have charts for not just bugs. I'm gonna have charts for plants, and I'm gonna have some lizards, and I'm gonna have some snakes. So this is just a really customizable pattern. You know, you don't have to just totally bug it up. But for me, I will be bugging. I will be bugging. Yeah. So that's it. That's what I've been up to. I've made another couple of yarn purchases because I need to make a couple different versions of my Sticks and Leaves vest, and I think I'm going to turn my Ants in a Row into a cardigan, which I'm really excited for. I'm thinking like a little strawberries and cream colorway for that because people knitting the Ants in a Row raglan in red and white. Fuck. God, I wish I'd thought of that. It looks so good. But yeah, that's been me, and I've been recovering from my semester. I finished my first semester as a PhD student, and I didn't post on TikTok, and then the longer I didn't post on TikTok, I just felt worse about not posting on TikTok, and then I was like, I just can't do it. So breaking the ice, we're back to posting. I've been working on some other kind of long form content strategies, so I'm starting a YouTube channel and a newsletter, and I think the newsletter / blog, I'm getting it really into blogging this year. I think that's going to be a little bit better for me. But TikTok has just been a little bit of a short platform lately for the things that I want to say. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. And I'm excited to share. I have another 2 rows of saguaros, so I'm excited to share the next additions to the Desert Dwellers.
I have a question for everybody who knits things with a strand of mohair or alpaca or anything that's fuzzy. I knit this step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller, which is what I'm wearing right now, and I knit it with a strand of Drops Lima held with a strand of Drops brushed alpaca silk. So it has like a nice halo, but as you can see here, it's starting to pill underneath the arms and on my sides, like in the high friction areas. And I'm wondering, do you shave your fuzzy sweaters with like an electric shaver or with a regular razor? Because I feel like that would just remove all the fluff. And the whole point of knitting with a strand of mohair or alpaca or something like that is for the fluff. So what do you do to get rid of the pills if you don't shave it? Or if I shave it, will it be fine? I don't know. I just feel like I'm scared to shave it. So yeah, let me know. I'd really love your input. Tuna, come here. This is Tuna, my brother's cat. Isn't she adorable? Yeah, I love her a lot.